everybody. Welcome back to What Women Binge. We have my good friend here today. So excited. Scott Grimes is here with us.
I'm not clapping for myself. I'm clapping for you guys because I'm a big fan.
For you.
Huge fan.
Well, you're a huge fan of the show, aren't you?
I am. I love your show.
You shut up. You don't actually.
I really do. I watched every episode.
Really?
I'm so flattered.
1,000,000,000%. Yeah. I don't know how you guys do it. You do this thing where you make people feel comfortable, and even the people that are watching. So it's kind of comforting. It's like a comfort food for me.
Oh, that's
so happy you are here. We made this work. Oh my gosh, we have so much to talk about, but we don't want to take up too much of your time, so we'll jump right in.
Okay. Oh my God.
Well, I want to talk about your show that's doing so great right now, Ted. Yeah, you are on Ted.
Yeah, I am. I know. It's funny. Everyone's like, "Oh, you're on another kind of hit show." I've never been on a show that was a hit that I've like started on. Like ER was a hit after I'd already been on it. It was a hit way before. And like Party of Five was a like a sleeper hit, but there were two other dudes on it that were way better looking than me, so they got all the attention.
You just didn't have a name like Wolf or Fox.
That's right.
So.
Right. That was the
didn't have animals.
Right, exactly. So this is the first time I've been on a show that like kind of just took off. So it's all new to me. I love it.
There you
it's great.
go.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But were you in the movies?
No.
But you've been like dear friends with Seth MacFarlane for a very long time. Does that stem from American Family? Like, where does that?
It comes from, I grew up with this girl in New York City named Kim Furtman that we were best friends since we were 10. And then you lose touch because high school, and I came out here and she stayed there. And when she came out to LA, she got a job working for this guy named Seth MacFarlane as his assistant. And she introduced it. This is like first year Family Guy. And he's nobody yet. And so she introduced us and we just hit it off because he still is. He loves like 80s, pop culture.
Yeah.
And I was like, I did these crappy movies called Critters, and I was on these sitcoms that if you saw them, but no one else has ever heard of them. And he loved that stuff. Like he was like, you were on 2 episodes of Who's the Boss? I'm like, holy crap. How do you know that? So we got on really well. And that just turned into one day he called me and said, can you do a voice of a 14-year-old for this show called American Dad that I'm writing because Family Guy's getting canceled? And I came up with one voice, and thank God he didn't go, oh, give me another version of that, because I didn't have it. I was like, this is the only voice that I had. And that turned into that's 19 seasons now. So
voiceover, that is like my dream job. I think I just have too distinctive a voice and I can't manipulate it. Like it's why I'm not a good singer. Because you sing, right? You're also in the band.
Yeah. And if you work for Seth Band from TV, you've sung with us.
I've actually played the tambourine.
Wait, what is Band from TV?
Band from TV is like a group of actors that do charity. We're in a band. We only do cover songs. We don't make people listen to our original stuff, and it's just a blast. And we show up for charity events and we raise money for charities and stuff like that. And Hugh Laurie actually started it, but then it's
Hugh Laurie. It's Greg Grumberg on drums. It's
Jesse Spencer.
Jesse Spencer.
I know.
And then Nick, does Nick play with you guys too?
Nick still does. Nick's actually the one this morning when I couldn't get my computer to work. I woke Nick up and he gets on my Zoom link or whatever we're on here, and he's like walked me through everything. So Nick's a good friend. Yeah, I love Nick.
I love it. And you guys kind of switch out sometimes, right? Whoever can't be there, like you're not all always together.
Yeah, and it's whoever. Like I'm gonna tell Greg Grumberg later that we chatted. He'll be like, we got to get her for the Vegas show. Because we're doing another one. So
I want to go to Vegas.
I'll be calling you. Come on. Both you guys.
Girl.
We just come up on stage and sing a song. It's that simple.
So when we were at Chicago Comic-Con, they had their big performance after the Comic-Con. I think it was like a Saturday night, and we were still having to get up Sunday and be nice to the fans. And they gave me the tambourine. I was out there and I'm like hitting that thing. That thing will hurt your hand.
Yeah.
Just slapping it on my butt. I mean, I had bruises all over the next day. I'm like,
you were great. I think we all had, there was a couple drinks involved. I'm not saying you, but
and I don't usually
Two Gin Melissa is very fun.
Right.
Two Gin Melissa is Amanda's nickname for me is Two Gin Melissa. That's what I'm
Two Gin. Oh, gin's powerful though.
It's the only thing that gets me hyped up. If I have wine or anything, I get a stomach ache or a headache, or tequila will make me angry. So if I have gin, I'm just like, yeah, let's go. I think I was 3 Gin Melissa that night, but
I want one right now.
Right? They're so good.
Yeah. So that's it's funny. Kim Furtman, who introduced me to Seth, to this day, she'll tell you too. she does not pay for a meal when we go out to dinner because I'm like, you set me up on this cartoon that's lasted 19 years, so you don't pay for anything.
The voiceover artists, like I get so jealous because I'm like, my friend Tara Strong, who was on our show, she's like one of the greatest. They make this living. Like you guys like get to kind of just like be in your street clothes, sitting behind a mic, having fun with it. Like you could do like 5 episodes in an hour and like
and you do it at your house now because of COVID and everybody set up their home studios, so it's real easy.
So can you give us a taste of the voice?
Well, what happened was I came up with this very violent version of what it ended up becoming. And I would do this with my neck. And I went in to do this. This is how great Seth MacFarlane is. I went in to do it and I was talking like this. And he goes, good. Now just get rid of the neck thing that you just did. Because it's ugly and it doesn't sound great. So I just went like this. And then I just came out like this and came up with this guy named Steve Smith, who has a tiny little lisp, but so does Scott Grimes. So it's perfect. And that was it. And it's kind of a combination between SpongeBob and Urkel.
There you go.
That's really what it is.
I hear that.
Everybody off, but he's more of an attitude, Steve Smith. Like he's suave, but he's a nerd and he screams a lot. So he just really took advantage of maybe just me. I don't know.
He knows
I'm starting to really look like him though as I get older.
It's funny. They say you look like your dog, but actors, I think, supposed to look like your character.
Yeah, exactly. So that's that, and then that just turned into everything. I think I only work for Seth now, really.
Yeah, right. So you did. I mean, so how many seasons of that has it been?
19.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and we're still one of the only shows that does. We do 24 episodes, Melissa. You guys will know.
Yeah,
that.
Everybody does 10 these days.
Yeah, so we still do. It's most of my year. It's awesome. Great gig.
That's a great gig. And then you did Orville. I mean, I'm not. We're jumping around a lot, but like, let's talk Band of Brothers for a second.
Yes.
Oh,
that is okay. So the funny thing about Band of Brothers is, if you look at my kind of career, it all stems from one audition. So like, I auditioned for this pilot called Birdland that nobody saw. It was like 6 episodes of Brian Dennehy in 91 or 2, whenever we did that. And the producers and writers of Birdland ended up doing Party of 5. And the person that cast Party of 5 ended up casting Band of Brothers. So everything that I did had something to do with that first pilot I went in on. And it's just a testament to, be nice to people, be friendly, and be good to work with, and maybe they'll keep hiring you. So I got Band of Brothers through Meg Lieberman, who brought me in. And said, I want you to audition. And I did. And then I went to see Tom Hanks. And that changed my life, that show.
Oh, my gosh. And then you rolled all the way to Oppenheimer, which is now, are you going to the Oscars?
No. It's so funny. If we want to jump to Oppenheimer, I'll tell you that, which is.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah,
pause.
yeah.
Go back to, sorry, we do this. We're like so ADHD.
Okay, I love it. Me too.
Let's go back, Band of Brothers. So for someone who's never seen it, can you spell it out for me?
It's, there's one woman in the entire thing. So I'll spell it by that.
That's sisters.
And she has the lovely, there might be 2. There might be like somebody sleeping with somebody later on when the war's over or whatever. But there's one woman. It's all, you got to commit to it or don't. Like, it's just, and it's almost like Game of Thrones in a way, where it's, you get you're following somebody and you like this person, and obviously probably going to die because it was the war and people did. So it's it's definitely a commitment. I mean, I haven't seen it in 15 years. Just because.
Did you watch it? Do you watch your stuff back?
It depends on what it is. Like, I didn't see Oppenheimer for months and months and months. Finally, somebody said, you got to go see it. And I did. But it depends on how I feel I look in it. It's so vain. And
it's all based on vanity.
It might be. Because I don't really want to go. I don't really want to watch the acting. I'm not, critical or anything or insecure about it.
I always say there's like nothing you can do about it.
Nothing you do. Yeah.
It's like done. So why? I don't know.
I loved watching ER because that was weekly, and I was like, there was something fun about watching ER, but I have no rhyme or reason to why I don't or do watch something. So no.
But that makes sense though, because with ER, when you're watching it, you can do something different next week or remember that. I feel like sometimes if you don't watch your stuff, you don't know what you did exactly. So like watching
taking a test.
Yeah, like watching it week to week, like you're building on something, and you might have forgotten some detail while you're reading this script, but that episode comes out, and
so ER is interesting to me because I get served all these little nuggets of shows, especially like old shows when I'm on Facebook or Instagram, like doom scrolling. And ER has been one that I've been getting served over and over again.
Oh,
All of
really?
a sudden, out of nowhere.
Wow.
And ER,
Yeah.
Grey's Anatomy, all those like medical shows from the 90s and early 2000s.
That
Well, there you
yeah,
are.
that's
in my
a-
feed every day.
that's a commitment because that's like 450 episodes, right? You don't.
I know, but
you don't want to start that now.
It's so good.
That's the problem. Like, I feel like I'm on unlaid shows. I'm trying to get back to, like, I just did Lost with my husband like last year.
I warned you about
Because
that.
all year, then we did 24. It's like, these
Yeah.
are big commitments. I want to go back to like Grey's, ER. ER, like the first season was like my jam. And then
So good.
I think I just got like too depressed with some of the, like once I had started having kids and like some of the sad stuff and kids stuff, like I can't.
Yeah.
One, your favorites.
But did
I
you work
was
with Kelly? Did you work with our friend Kelly Martin? when
No,
you-
she had died on the shift. Nobody's watched it, so she dies on the show. I shouldn't have said that, but whatever. No, she hadn't. But I remember when I started ER, she had told me some things to look out for, like
Oh,
or
yeah.
to watch out, like this and this. And there's nothing bad about
Yeah.
people, but here's how the show runs, and that's,
that's
that's another version of
like
like
that. It's tricky, right?
yeah,
It's tricky to
Yeah.
step into, I'd imagine.
and that's
I've never
like,
done it, but I'd imagine.
It was, but again, that's like an ongoing, reoccurring thing in my career, which is I really believe I was supposed to do 2 episodes of ER, right, and then quit. And I actually filmed the scene where I quit, and then they came up to me and like, "We're bringing you back." I'm like, "I'm bringing me back. I just quit. We're bringing you back to kill you." I'm like, "Oh, okay, I'll come back and you kill me, whatever." And then I
So
did.
you die too.
like-
Spoiler alert.
No, I don't. This is in the 3rd episode. They bring me back. They realized that like I'm cheap, and they're going to kill off some of the big money on the show, right? So they killed somebody else off, and I rode the show for about 20 more episodes, and then they made me a regular.
Was
So
it Katherine Heigl? No, wait, that's Grey's Anatomy.
No, that's great.
Who was it?
no,
Who'd they
it
kill
was
off?
It was Paul McCrane, the one-armed guy.
Oh yeah.
Remember him? Yeah, they killed him off. He was making.
I actually just saw that snippet the other day.
Yeah,
Oh
the
really?
helicopter. It's cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, and it was great for me because I did the
Yeah,
show for
that's-
6 years.
There you go.
Yeah.
I love it.
So you know what I mean? Like I really believe, guys, that if I had auditioned for a regular on ER, they would have gone another way. But because I snuck in there,
Yeah.
did a couple episodes, and people went, "Oh, you might be okay," and
You make
then
you're like best friends with everybody too. You're like,
that might be the way. Just
are you
I'm
best friends
kind
with
of a
Russell
crew guy.
Crowe? Isn't Russell Crowe
Russell-
like
He is one of my best friends. Yeah,
bud?
that's
Is he
that's a
in
weird
LA
one.
or is he in
Is he
LA
what?
a lot? Is he in LA
Yeah.
or Australia?
He's in Australia all the time. He hasn't
All the
been here. I haven't seen Russ since before the pandemic, just because
Oh.
he does everything out of Australia now as he can, because he doesn't.
Yeah.
Not that he doesn't like the United States. His family's there. So,
Yeah.
but we do this. We FaceTime and we still write music together because we are in a band also.
Oh,
Wait,
what's that one
how many
called?
bands are you in?
Wherever they want me to sing. No. It's called Indoor Garden Party, and I didn't name it. He did, but when he's paying for it all, let him. Right.
So what kind
Absolutely.
of music does Indoor Garden Party play?
Indoor Garden Party is original music because Russell is a really terrific writer, and we
All
write
right,
a lot
writing this
together.
down.
It's kind of like it's a whole record. It's a compilation of basically middle-aged men and this wonderful girl named Samantha Barks, who was Eponine on Broadway. She's in the movie Les Mis.
Oh.
Samantha Barks is incredible. We are lucky to have her. And it's just it's kind of pop, a little bit of country kind of music. And before COVID, we traveled everywhere and sang. It was a blast. We don't make any money or anything. It's just for fun for guys
just
to
for fun.
pretend they're rock stars in their 50s.
I love
Okay.
it.
Really.
So I did a deep dive and I have to fangirl for a second. So
You do that, Amanda. I'm going to put on mascara because I totally forgot. Don't mind me. I'm just right
This
here.
is what I love. This is what I wanted to see.
I'm right here. You go for it, Amanda. What do you deep
Actually,
dive?
your mirror is actually in front of you, isn't it?
I'm in a vanity. I sit in my vanity because it's the best lighting.
That is
you-
amazing.
While she does her mascara,
Yeah.
you did Star Trek.
I did. Well, I did an episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation, right?
Yes.
But here's a great story. My buddy Will Wheaton called me and he was like, "There's this little part where we're doing this. Me and you take these 2 girls into the holodeck and we go on this fake ski trip and and you break your leg and whatever." So I show up. I get to be on this set. I love all those guys. We film it. They call me afterwards and they say the show is too long. We have to cut your entire story. So if you watch the episode, On the DVD, it's different. Where you see the back of my head in a bar scene, and Whoopi Goldberg just goes right past me, and you just see the back of my big fluff. I had huge head of like hair at the time. It was very orange, so you can't miss me. But they called me and they're like, "Do you still want the credit?" And I said,
I do.
"Yeah, I want the credit." So remember when TiVo came out?
Yeah.
You guys remember? And you could go to TiVo. It said Star Trek Next Generation, episode 212, whatever, starring Scott Grimes.
Nice.
It said my name, and I remember I took a picture of it. I have it somewhere of that because it's not starring Scott Grimes. He's not in it at all. But people still show up. People still show up at autograph signings with a picture of me because on the DVD there's one scene of me trying to talk him into going into the holodeck.
That is.
I wonder. I was cut out of Crocodile Dundee, and I wonder if I was credited for it. I don't think so.
This is why we need the brain on here today, but I'll Google that for you.
But also, Scott, when I looked you up on IMDb, you come up. You're the second Scott to come up. I always think this is impressive. Behind Scott Glenn.
Scott Glenn. I love Scott Glenn. I don't mind that at all.
Right? No? Or is he an actor?
He played an astronaut. That's just so funny that you said that. Scott Glenn played Alan Shepard in The Right Stuff.
Oh my gosh, yeah. He was in Silence of the Lambs, The Bourne, Identity, The Hunt for Red October.
He's in Backdraft. Yeah.
Yeah.
Vertical Limit, if you want to watch a...
But you're the second Scott. I think that's impressive.
Wow. Does that mean something? Somebody told me recently, my agent called me when Ted took off, and he's like, "You've broken the top 100 in the star meter." I'm like, what is that?
The star meter used to be,
know that.
before like Instagram numbers or Twitter numbers, now casting looks at that, but they used to look at the star meter. And you have to have an IMDb Pro account to see the star meter. That's probably which means you have to pay for it, which I'm like, right. But the more people hit on your name, the higher you go on the star meter. So I don't know if if it's like now an algorithm with where your name ends up let me see. I'm going to see what my name shows up. Just for poops and giggles.
Like the girls in Ted were like top 10.
Oh, I'm way down, you guys. Oh wait, I didn't.
Not after this interview.
I didn't write Melissa all the way. Hold on, I got to add an A. So we got Melissa Benoist. I never know how to say Supergirl. Mm-hmm. Melissa Rauch from Big Bang Theory. Melissa McCarthy. Melissa O'Neill. Melissa George. Melissa Peterman. Melissa Barrera. I'm not even on the top list right now.
I don't know. I'm gonna. What can we do? What can we do to change that?
Everybody just go on IMDb and type in Melissa
right now.
Right now. If everybody does it right now, it'll just like shoot up.
My OCD brain, I have to. I'm doing it right now.
You're doing it. You just want to.
Just
I don't have to, but let's do it. Everybody pick up your phone, go to IMDb, which by the way, if people at home, I don't know if this is just like an industry thing or if people use this, but like my husband and I literally watch movies with IMDb because we want to know how old everybody is, what else have they been in, all that.
Okay.
I do the same thing.
I found it.
There it is. And here's the weird thing. For some odd reason, if you look at it, I'm oddly cockeyed in that.
What?
Look at it. Look at my eyes.
Straight in the eyeball.
This is impressive.
When I see that picture, it looks like I'm cross-eyed. That's Will Wheaton and I in my fluffy red hair.
I love it.
I think
the orange hair.
Well,
I got to wear that outfit.
Trek, so
you got to wear that outfit. That would be like a dream come true for me.
So she named one of her kids after a Star Trek character. So she's a big Trekkie.
What character?
I have Riker as my son.
And that's Jonathan Frakes, right?
Yes.
Who directed a bunch of the Orvilles in the first season. I love Jonathan.
That's where you get him on the show for us.
I would love. I'll text him. I really will. And after this, I'll say you should go on their show.
I don't know if I could handle myself, y'all. Like
he's a charmer, man. He's a charmer. I'm telling you.
Like I met Patrick Stewart once, and I burst out into tears. Like I have chill about me, but I don't know. I don't know if I can handle Jonathan.
There's certain both of those guys, right? Together when they're in a scene in Star Trek, I'm like, oh my God, look at this.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So Amanda, don't you find bras to be so uncomfortable?
The wrong bras, I do.
The wrong bras are so uncomfortable, right? It's like the first thing you want to rip off your body when you get home.
I've been known to do that. I've perfected the art of taking a bra off through my sleeve.
Yeah, just get it off any chance you get, right?
I don't have to be that girl anymore. Ask me why.
Why?
Because I love Skims.
Skims has changed the game. I mean, with Skims, I never want to rip my bra off. I mean, to be honest, I actually went skiing in it the other day. I went skiing in my Skims bra, like my underwire bra, which
not a sports bra, but
not a sports bra. I wore the actual Skims underwire bra, and I wore it while skiing, which is like something I've never done before.
That's incredible. I'm wearing a sweatshirt right now, and normally, as you know, girls in their sweatshirt era, it's a no bra situation. But today, no, girl, I am lifted up, defying gravity in my Fits Everybody push-up situation. Even though you can't see the cleave, it's there.
I love it. I love it. The Fits Everybody is my fave too. And they have so many, not only bras, I mean, they've got so many items, but Skims, you can shop Skims bras if you go to skims.com, and they're now available in 62 sizes. They have a 30A all the way to a 46H.
That's incredible.
Right?
Does any other bra line do that?
There's a bra for everyone. Yeah. It's
literally bras for everyone. Plus you get free shipping on orders over $75.
Yeah.
And y'all, that's multiple bras because they're affordable and they're amazing. And they're
soft and they're comfy and they look great under your clothes or without your clothes. If you haven't yet, be sure to let them know that we sent you when you go to skims.com to get your Skims bra. So just after you place your order, you select podcast in the survey and then select our show, That's What Women Binge, in the drop-down menu that follows. And thank you, Skims, for sponsoring What Women Binge. From Star Trek, so Orville. Now, Orville's like a Star Trek kind of spoof, right?
Yes.
Tell us about Orville.
What it is it's Seth's version. He wanted to do a real, like, dramatic Star Trek, not ripoff, but like a spoof. Fox at the time said, no, it's got to be Seth MacFarlane. So he had this idea. He's like, I'll do the first season kind of goofy and kind of sending it up a bit. And then if it hits, I can do the show that I wanted to do. And that's what he did. It didn't really hit. So he took it to Hulu instead. But that is another cool story of being at a Christmas party for American Dad and Family Guy and having him. This will show how long ago it was. Like him and I would go outside and have a cigarette when we were young and dumb. And he said to me, it's about 6 years ago, he said, I'm thinking of doing this TV show. And his exact words to me were, would you ever consider television again? And I remember going like, did I ever not consider? Like I haven't. He put me on some pedestal that I didn't belong. Like, I'll do anything. I don't care. Of course. But I think I faked it and was like, sure, for you, I'll do it, I guess.
I'll take a step down.
But he said, I'm thinking of doing the show. And I never thought about it. 6 months later, we're at another party. He's like, I'm still thinking of doing that show. And it worked out. Like it
must be so nice to have friends that are like, I have this idea. You're in it. I'm like,
yep. Now, by the way, I still had to go like, because there's network people involved, and they want to be able to make the decision. So he did say, you're my only choice, but you still got to come in and we got to make sure that it's all working. So he brought me in. Him and I did like a cool reading thing.
Steps. Like that's not,
Exactly. And then
we get me on a screen test on Ted season 2.
Sure, he probably loves you. I'll text him later today. So I got to text Jonathan Frakes today. Seth.
Tell Seth. Give Seth my number.
And we need Seth here too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that'd be awesome.
I think that would be awesome too.
He would love to do this.
So now let's get to Oppenheimer, because then of course we have to get to our big project that we worked on together, our huge movie that's
still one of the best times I ever had.
Career. So tell us about Oppenheimer. So how did that come about?
Oppenheimer was, I got the audition, right? And it was just put yourself on tape. I have this condo in Studio City. My buddy Scotty came over. It was a scene that's like a modern scene. It wasn't even from Oppenheimer. It was just like, here's 7 lines, like 1 page. You're talking to your secretary. I did the thing. I knew it was for Oppenheimer. So you kind of do it a little bit historical or weighted in something, whatever. And that was it. I was like,
a little transatlantic accent.
I did the kind of like radio thing. Like, what do you mean, Miss MacFarlane? That you throw that little voice in that sounds like 30s radio or something. Kind of, a little bit. And I had this big old beard because I was growing it. I thought I was going to have a beard for Ted. So we were just trying some stuff. I had this huge beard, which looked exactly the opposite of Oppenheimer. I looked Amish. And 2 days later, I get a phone call from Chris Nolan's office, personally, on my phone. It wasn't Chris Nolan.
I love that you're like Chris Nolan, like Chris. Like Chris.
Yeah.
You're one of those.
Yeah, CN. It doesn't work with CN, but I tried. And it was from the office saying, we'd like you to be a part of Oppenheimer. And I was like, oh my God, who am I playing? And they sent me 3 pages, right? All marked. It said Scott Grimes, so you don't want to, 3 pages. I didn't get to read a script. And it was just all it said, I had 1 line in the Senate scene where I'd lean over and whisper something to Robert, right? And I go, I drive myself to Santa Fe, New Mexico. I shave, first of all, which is huge for me because you guys, I don't look the same when I shave this beard. I look completely different. Some people say I look 10 years younger. Some people say I look 30 years older. You never know. You never know. Well, I was young and had good skin then. Yeah, exactly. And I drive to Santa Fe. I'm almost done the story, I promise. I go to the set. I'm not working till the next day, but they want to take a look at your hair and they want to cut your hair and shave you and all the things. And I walk in and she made me take my glasses off. I don't see great without these glasses. And there was somebody else in the makeup trailer. And I didn't know who it was. I couldn't see them. There's hair dryers going. And we're just having fun. Like we're razzing each other and something's going on. Some kind of fun, back and forth repartee, if you will. And I get up, I leave, I put my glasses on. I walk behind the chair of the person and it's Robert Downey Jr. I'm like, oh my God, I had no idea it was you. We don't know each other. And we laugh, whatever, I leave. The next day, I go to the set, 4:30 in the morning. I get wrangled with herded with a bunch of people, extras and all this stuff. And I'm in this room with 100 people. And the first AD comes up and he's like, Scott Grimes? I'm like, yeah. I got really scared because I'm like, I haven't done anything to get fired yet. And he takes me down the hall to this little office. And Chris Nolan's in there with Robert Downey Jr. and Alden Ehrenreich. I never say his name right. He's a terrific actor. And I walk in and Chris goes, hey, thank you for shaving. I was like, I didn't know I had a choice, which I didn't. And then he goes, Robert had this idea that because you're his lawyer, you should be next to him in every scene. I'm like, I think that's a great idea.
I had the same idea. And
it was 2 weeks of them just throwing me lines here and us just being there. And it was one of the luckiest and coolest things to be a part of.
You're like the golden,
I don't know. That one, though, has nothing to do with anything that I did because I hadn't really done anything yet except chat with Robert.
Your charisma, the way you vibe with people.
Instant friendship.
It's all about you. I mean, that's amazing.
And now Robert helped my son through rehab, and Robert's a big FaceTimer. So his wife actually said something to me that in that 2 weeks, he handed me the phone. He goes, my wife wants to say something to you. And I'm like, hello. She goes, listen, he's going to FaceTime you. Don't think you have to answer it. That's part of his process. And I'm like, it's all good. She was right. Because
every night.
It's usually mornings. Mornings, a couple times a week, you'll just get it, and you just got to be ready, right? Because I'm not a good FaceTimer. I'm just not. I got to be like, okay, this is Robert's thing.
You're doing great here.
I like you call Robert. Okay. You didn't start with Bob or Bobby, or
I know.
Just stick
I'm not there yet.
Robert.
I'm not there yet with him.
RDJ. I don't know what we.
RDJ. That's who he is in my phone.
I don't know what you call him.
Call him.
I would just. It would be Iron Man for me.
Yeah, right. But he did, and I will say this. I've never told anybody this. My son went through a really rough time, and we were up in San Francisco, and I was trying to find a place for my son to go because he had been struggling for years and years and years. And I was down by myself in the bar at this hotel. My son's upstairs sleeping. And I decided to text Robert and be like, hey, dude, can I have a second? Or can you call me at some point? My phone, FaceTime, rang immediately. I pressed send and it rang. And I leave the bar to another room because you don't want to be sitting next to someone at a bar and it's Iron Man's on your screen. Yeah. And he said, where is he? I said, he's upstairs sleeping. He goes, I'm calling him at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. I said, okay. I hung up. Next, I go upstairs. I tell my son, 9 a.m. tomorrow, Robert's calling you. And 9 a.m., my phone rang. He said, hey, Grimes. I'm like, all right, Scotty, good to see you. Fuck off. Give the phone to your son. I want to talk to him. And I left the room, and he 45 minutes chatted with my son, and everything's been amazing since whatever's happened. It's just, that's who Robert is, man. He's a good friend, a good person, and it changed our lives. Whatever he said to my son, it was really cool.
And punctual as well.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I mean, he called it 9.
Robert's punctual, helpful, friendly.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Really, yeah,
that's good to know, actually, because I've never heard a story about him before, one way or the other. Really, I feel like he's one of those kind of otherworldly actors that I don't know. I feel like you don't hear too much really.
He immediately gets rid of that though. With crew members, with actors, he tries to find something that connects you and all that goes away. He's the easiest person to be around. Now we're not best friends, so I'm not going to sit there and say that, but on the set just because I had to.
He's a warm and caring guy. I mean, that's awesome.
And my job on that movie, I figured out, was to have, there were 2 people in the scene until I arrived. And then when they decided to add the third, I was like, my job here is to just be the eyes that Robert can look at. Right. Just as an actor, whatever, you don't have a ton to do, Grimes, just look at him in the eyes. And it was awesome because,
and, that's got to be so hard for you. Cause like, I know, like, cause you and I can bounce back and forth, like more so comedy drama, but like, I find that like when I'm doing comedy, it's like, boom, boom, boom. It's fast paced, it's moving. And you're like, and you're trying to work that timing out, but everything's like kind of fast and furious. And you get so much of your detail from your dialogue.
Right.
When you're doing something like that, trying to pull backstory, you're trying to figure it out for yourself.
But you're also that was a hard one for me because, Chris would just put a camera on me just to see what I came up with, but you don't want to mug either. Yeah. You don't want to because then he'll never cut.
Not too much eyebrow movement.
Right. None.
The Botox helps.
Yeah. Right.
Not too much. What?
Yeah.
Huh? Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. I did one thing in it that people comment on where I decided to get a bowl of soup. And he actually used it and he cuts away like Robert's saying something deep about
and you're just
this. And I'm like, just, yeah. It's the only good moment I think.
Hey, if they put it in the edit. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was just a wild experience of 2 weeks of my life. That was just, it was so awesome.
Where'd you film that? You said
Santa Fe, right? Basically where it took place. Right.
Oh, okay.
They built
wow. I didn't realize that. Yeah. That's awesome.
It was great.
What a fun project. I mean, what a fabulous project to be a part of. Like you've just,
seriously.
I mean, everything you touch is gold. Like it's,
I don't think I had much to do with that.
Wife in something? Come on.
Yeah, please. Let's do it.
Well, there's such camaraderie and like.
Well, coming to that, I know what you're going to say right now. I was more honored when did you call me or through Kelly or something? Like, how did that work?
Through Adam or Kelly, one of our friends. Well, I had your number, I think. And
you were directing, which I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. And she wants me to be a part of it. And boy, did I have fun on that.
It was my directorial debut for a feature. I'd only done TV shows, and Lifetime wanted me to do a Christmas movie. And I thought, no, that's like where careers go to die. I'm not going to do that. And then I was like, well, if I get because it was really hard for me to get directing jobs at the time. So I was like, if I can direct it, and they were like, well, will you be in it? I was like, I'll take a smaller role. It was a movie called The Santa Con. And what's interesting about that movie is it's one of the few Lifetime movies that's male driven. So Barry Watson plays the con who leaves prison. I play his sister, who gets him a job as a mall Santa. He promises this kid he's going to get his parents back together. And Scott is the dad, but he's an alcoholic. And so the mom's pretty much left him, but this kid just wants his parents back together for Christmas. And so it's one of the more heartfelt, like it's funny, but it's not that funny. But this was a really hard thing to cast because the role that Scott played had to be like, you had to be like the alcoholic who was still likable because spoiler alert, we get you back together with your wife at the end. So you still, even though you come in and destroy the Christmas concert with your rant and your, screaming at your kid on the stage, like, way to go, buddy. Like you had to walk that line of like being likable and still being the guy who wins the girl. I
remember you and I talking about that.
It was so.
I also love when I first read it. It's like, here's this alcoholic. And I just pictured Melissa going, who are we going to get? Scott Grimes, alcoholic, right there.
No, it was more like, who can we get to play dramatic, but also make it lovable, And so my friend Alimi Ballard was in it too. He played the bad guy, and Barry Watson was fantastic. I mean, it was just such a fun. We had John Ratzenberger from Cheers, of course.
Yeah, and Jaleel.
Oh my gosh, Jaleel! Right? Oh my gosh,
which is one of those things that I remember. First of all, I remember we all going to that cool
Bar Taco.
Oh. Boy, I still Bar Taco.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I shot it in Connecticut. I was like, I will only do this if I can direct it, shoot it in Connecticut. So we shot it in Connecticut, and Bar Taco had just opened on our river there. It was a beautiful river in Westport. And I made everyone stay in Westport, even though we were kind of shooting a little bit out in Bridgeport. But we were staying there, and Bar Taco had just opened. I just met the manager, so I kept getting these guys in. But you and Barry went there like every single night.
And
I would get so jealous.
It was a cool moment. I was such a big fan of Barry's. I loved Jaleel. And I remember there's this tiny little bar downstairs at the hotel that we used to sit at practically every night and just talk. And I'm like, I'm sitting here with Irk. Oh, I should start with Irk. I was just such fans of those guys. And it was so cool that you put that group together because we still text each other. Like I still keep in touch with both of those.
Oh my gosh, you just
I love all of your
Yeah.
friendships. This is
Yeah.
the coolest, like, little web.
We had such fun on that.
Yeah,
with
right?
We got bored, I think. I didn't because I was directing, but I think you got, you and Barry did this funny thing. We found this app, which at the time, like, remember, this is like, we're talking about like 13 years ago, I think.
My
maybe?
talking pet.
Yeah, that's my talking pet.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd put the camera on an animal, and the idea was it would move its mouth and move its eyes. So we started doing it. I can't believe you remember the name of the app. We started doing it with like things in magazines. So like you did one with your toothbrush. That is probably my favorite video I've ever. You did my toothbrush. Like, hey guys, we were doing a night shoot, and you sent it to me and Barry. You're like, hey guys, what's going on? You still working? Oh my god. Well. Oh well, good luck to you guys. I'm going to sleep or whatever. You're like, it was so funny.
So fun.
This does still exist.
Yeah. Oh, I still have it. I still have it, but I'll be honest with you. I don't use it often because it was so much fun and we did such good ones during that movie that I'm like, well, what am I going to do now? It's never going to be as good.
We were shooting in a church and there were these old like knitting catalogs and there'd be these guys in like silly sweaters, which were like leaning on each other, skiing or stuff, and we would make their mouth. Oh, you or Barry made one of them sing a song that it's like a classic Led Zeppelin song or something, and every time I hear that song I'm like, yes. I like remember this talking
it was a summer we did that, didn't we?
It was, it was super hot. It was like the hottest summer in July in Connecticut. I was wearing leather pants. Barry and I had to do a scene in a car and it was like roasting me.
Leather pants.
I always remember the first day I was I think I was in your first shot. Remember we shot at that bar.
Yeah.
And I'll remember you were a tiny bit nervous. And the second you did something directing wise that I went, that crew is now hers. You were secure and confident. And I was like, that's how you do it. And I always keep, because that's a tough first day. Right? Yeah. Any director on that.
I'm always I'm nervous. Like my sister was the on-set photographer and she was nervous. She was like 19, never done photos before. She's like, I go, you nervous? She goes, hell yeah. I'm like, me too. Let's do this.
Yep. You just stepped right in. It was great. It went really smooth. I had a really good time.
Well, the one compliment I get when I direct is that I know how to command a set. So I'm like, all right.
That's exactly right. Without being like mean or angry. Or
get the work done. Everybody wants to go home, right? So let's do this thing.
Yeah, it was great. That was fun.
Well, we have some questions. We
gotta talk about Ted before we jump into questions.
Let's talk about Ted.
Shoot, yeah.
Why we're here.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's right. We could go for hours.
You're in Ted. What else?
We really could talk to you for hours. That's the problem with us.
Yeah. Well, now that's kind of a similar thing where we were doing Orville and Seth told me he was thinking of, well, he had to. He was kind of obligated to do Ted through the deal he had with Peacock Universal, and I didn't even ask, and he was like, "But there's nothing in it for you." I was like, "All right, dude, relax." So now I'm like, well, why? Why isn't there? So I because not that I wanted to work with him again, but I was like, okay. And I'd go over his house and we'd have a couple drinks, and he'd show me people that he was thinking of for this monster of a father. And never talked about it, never did a thing. And then one day he said, I can't find anybody, man. Do you want to audition? And I'm like, sure. But my relationship with him was so close at the time that I was like, oh, wow. Now I feel weird about auditioning because I don't want to mess. I don't want to disappoint him or the people that he's sending me to. So we set up something like this where I was auditioning in a thing like this, right? And I had all the words because I cheated and put like some stuff over here because you're talking there. Why not, right?
Yeah.
And I got so nervous that I pretended that my internet went out. And he's texting me going, dude, we're waiting for you. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. My internet's out. I just didn't want to do it. And sometimes I do that. And sometimes as actors, we do get scared and we burn the whole thing down because we just don't feel like it. And I said to him, listen, I'm going to put myself on tape right now by myself and send it to you when my internet's back up. And he goes, okay, fine. And I did. And that is the audition that got me to whatever the next thing. Because I really believe that if I had done the live audition in that very moment, I would have screwed it up and not gotten the part. So he, And then
was he reading, like, so when you did it yourself, did you have anyone reading? Because
my daughter, I just found the audition recently on the computer. Yeah. My daughter was just doing it with me. And I'd had a beer just to get relaxed because this guy another alcoholic there. I'm playing.
You got a type there.
Yeah, yeah, it might. Yeah. So yeah, and that just it was such a gift because I had so much fun being on the ground floor of it. They cast me first, and then we tried, the wife.
Oh, they cast you first. That's awesome.
Yeah. So then I got to be a part of like the rest of getting like Alana Ubach, who played my wife, who's just unbelievable. So it was great.
Is she maybe gonna maybe you guys get divorced in season 2 and you need
she has to. Yes, exactly. By the way, when I just said Alana, I'm like, why didn't we think of Melissa for that? Seriously. Yeah.
Second wife.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
If you haven't seen the show, which you should or shouldn't, if you have kids running around the house, don't.
Definitely don't.
We watched it. No, we watched it, but I was like,
yeah,
I felt a little like, ooh, I got to make sure I turn the volume down on this one.
Yeah. It's a perfect. I thought that the show was going to disappear because of what it is talking about, but it was the opposite. People went, okay, I guess we can laugh because it's in the 90s and because all these lines are coming out of either a little bear or this monster bigot. I guess it's okay, and it's teachable, and
that's the thing. There's
something nostalgic about it.
Yeah, that's what I loved about it. And
I feel like it's just like it's free conversation in a way. It's like that freeing kind of conversation in a way that's like wrong, but like you said, like you can kind of take things from it, and everybody's kind of correcting each other at the same time, right? So it's like you can't do that. You can't,
You had to make him. I said to Seth, we have to make him so over the top loud all the time, right? So there's like my son commented on. He goes, "Scott, Dad, when nobody's even arguing with you, you're just loud and you just talk like this."
You're like, yeah.
They just have to. You had to make him such an idiot that people went, "Oh, look, he's just an idiot." So I really enjoyed doing that.
Every single
leaned into it.
I did.
Who's watched or grown up in the 90s or, 80s and 90s. If you ever watch TV, it almost has like a Roseanne-like quality. It's just like little too close to home, a little too crass to be comfortable.
Right.
But it's so funny, and everyone can find something they relate to.
Walking that line of like, ooh, is it too much? Is it too? But that's what Seth's always done so well, right?
He loves to make audiences a little bit uncomfortable.
It's like, here's the line. Let's go over it a little. Then we come back.
Imagine the things we didn't put in.
Oh, I know.
I cannot imagine what's on the floor.
Yeah, there was a lot.
There was a lot. But it is. I haven't laughed that hard in a long time.
Turned out
the cringe factor is so there.
Oh man, thanks for saying that, and I'm just truly happy for Seth because he hasn't. Orville didn't take off the way he wanted it to, even though it's this kind of little cult hit. And I'm just happy people are seeing what he could do, because he directed every second of both of those shows. To watch him work is like, wow. How are you handling all these hats that you're wearing? It's unbelievable.
Wait,
so I'm happy.
Does he do the voice of, like, how do you do Ted when you're, I obviously worked with an imaginary cat for a long time, but back then things were very different. Do you have anything there as reference? You have like a Stuffy, like we always had a cat that was called Stuffy. That's what we called Ted, Stuffy. I swear to God. They gave us one about 3 weeks before we started. They gave us one to, like, I'll never forget. I rented a car and the guy was cleaning out the rental car after I returned it. And I forgot Ted. So this guy has to bring me my stuff, who's, he's big. He's expensive, and because he looks like Ted. And it was odd. The guy, here's your. Wait, you have your own Ted? Hold on, I'm confused. Yeah.
Wait, I'm going to need you to go get Ted.
It's not. It's down in it's far away in this garage that I have down there. But I do. They gave it to us to kind of practice, because the one thing that was tough for the first week was if I'm sitting here and Ted's in front of you, right? But they're talking over there. Seth's talking over here as Ted. So you immediately want to turn to where you're hearing the voice. Caroline Ray would always look at where the cat was talking, or because our cat, the live cat, had to have a beeper. It was on a long pole, like a beeper, so the cat would look up. Well, Caroline would look up when it would beep. Yeah, it's not easy. And Seth's being recorded, so I think you were asking. He's wearing this kind of vest and this hat that is, and he has these monitors in front of him that are recording him just where he turns. So but he's not looking at us. He is like, let's say it's a dinner table scene.
Yeah.
He's looking at the monitors, directing at the same time while looking to where maybe my character's sitting.
No way.
Oh yeah, he's and it's
so he's
magical.
watching the scene, but he's also in this. I mean, I guess
It's magical to
act
watch.
and direct at the same time. I guess it's sort of, because you're getting if you're looking at the person, you're getting the performances firsthand. So you're, as long as and you trust the camera operators to tell you if it's soft or whatever.
Exactly. He's like a conductor of his own.
Yeah.
His own thing.
That's wild. I didn't realize I was thinking in this day and age, maybe he'd have like a script supervisor or somebody read his line. So then he would go and record it later.
No, because the comedy, if you've seen it, the comedy really just comes from him, and we're just jumping on board of that because his pace is the show.
Do you guys riff, or is it like all very scripted?
We do a little. It was tough for me to riff because I was afraid what would come out of my mouth if you riffed this guy, right?
Yeah.
But they did that a lot, like Ted and John. They would do like alternate takes that would go for too long sometimes.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't, because it was pretty specific what I had to say.
That's good. Yeah. I feel like I would be the same way, a little too nervous to go off book. But
the mustache, the hard part about Ted for me was growing that mustache, because I will tell you,
real.
Oh, that's real. And that took, I'll tell you guys right now, it wasn't just your average mustache. It's not like I have a mustache here, right? Which is, if I shake this, it was, so it grew from the top. And so it took a while. So all the layers of it, and people hated it out in the world. I remember one specific time I'm at a grocery store, and she's doing my stuff, beep. And she keeps looking up at me like, she goes, "Is that on purpose? Is it on purpose?" Or the other one was, "Is that real?" I'm like, no, I'm wearing a fake mustache at the grocery store.
Wait, did you have to like split it and push it to the side? Like, you
could, but I chose not to. I chose
like that curtain.
Yeah.
How much food did you get on that thing?
I was pretty self-aware of that. I never wanted that to be an issue, because you don't forget
comb
that.
just for
I had to. I had a comb.
And beard oil and all that.
I did. I did the whole conditioner. It was and
it was smelling good. You can't eat garlic.
I hated it.
That.
Nope.
Onion.
Yeah, no, it was terrible. And people really had like visceral reactions to it. They just didn't like it.
Great, because that's the character, right?
Yeah.
What a perfect set piece in a way.
Yeah, right. But if we go again, I might do the fake one.
Next season, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I might have to do the fake one. That's if we get picked up. So, but thanks for watching the show, guys.
Shave it bald like a baby and glue it on.
Yeah.
Keep it easy.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's what I'll do.
Well, here's our questions. This is season 10. So these are our season 10 questions. So, and they're all questions that we've had on, if you've watched the show, like you said,
yep.
They're all questions we've had on previous seasons. So, they're like the favorites. All right. First one is movie you feel you should have watched, but you haven't yet.
That's pretty easy for me, because it always comes up. There's two. I've never seen It's a Wonderful Life. Never seen it from never even a moment. And the other one would be Citizen Kane, which I always start and can't get through.
I have to say, we went and saw it in the theater recently. I do fall asleep quite a bit in that one. It's got a little slow part in the middle, but it's so fantastic. I'm
going to do it after this because
It's a Wonderful Life.
I know. I think it's something in my brain, because everybody says that they cry. They cry.
Yeah. Well, but you only
cry avoiding horror. You
don't cry at a sad part. You cry at a happy. The only crying happens.
Oh, okay.
It's a happy cry.
Those are worse, though, for me.
That's not true. There's more crying than just in the happy part.
Just at the very end. Come on,
where your soul is.
I can't watch it. I got to wait till Christmas.
It's so good. I don't think you have to wait till Christmas. It's a black and white. It's not a read. It's like, you got to watch. It's like so perfect.
You guys have pushed it forward. I'm going to watch it.
All right. Is there a villain that you loved, a TV villain that you love to hate?
TV villain that I love to hate.
Probably yourself, Ted.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Well, it could be ER. I was kind of a villain on ER. Mine would be, only because I watched this show with my daughter. Well, when you that first show you remember kind of binge watching with your daughter, which was Pretty Little Liars. So it's that character A. It would be her, or the other one would be the Borg from Star Trek. And the TV show and the movie, even though you just said the thing, because in the movie, the Borg woman is one of the most gorgeous things. I still have dreams about the woman that played the Borg, because she was beautiful.
Have you watched the new Picard show?
Yes. Oh my God. Right. Yeah.
The whole Borg storyline.
Right? Unbelievable. I love that whole movie too. That's it. So yeah, any one of those. I'm only supposed to answer one. You're right. I'm going.
No, it's
cheating.
fine. You can.
Okay.
No, you can do as many as you want.
Do you have a favorite book genre?
Sci-fi or Michael Crichton? If Michael Crichton did, which he's done sci-fi like Sphere. So yes, anything Michael Crichton, but it's usually science fiction.
Okay.
100%. Yeah.
Fair.
What's your go-to karaoke song?
Oh, well, first of all, I'm a singer, so I don't love karaoke because I think if I was sitting there and like a good singer got up, I'd question that they're only singing because they want the kudos for it, right? So the one song that I do end up doing is just the one line of "Want It" on Dead or Wanted Dead or Alive. But the person sings it. He sings just the wanted part, just the Richie Sambora part.
Just that's it.
I'm wanted. That's it. I'll help anybody out with that.
That's funny.
That's really good.
I like a good karaoke. Here's the funny thing: we Amanda and I on my birthday a few years ago went out and just moved to Nashville and went out on Broadway. And instead of going to like any of the honky tonks that would have professional singers, we decided to go to a karaoke bar, which is probably the only place in Nashville you don't want to be because the only place that there's not good singers.
They actually sound good. It's a real bummer.
Yeah, right. I forgot about that.
Like,
of course,
if you go to church in Nashville, you're going to have amazing singers. But don't go to the karaoke bar because anyone that can sing is already on a stage in a honky tonk. Oh,
right. Did you sing anything?
They wouldn't let us.
They never let us up on stage. I think we were too old. They were like going for all the young hot girls, and we were like in our. Well, I was in my 40s. Amanda's in her 30s, but I was up there like, nah, you're old, so you can wait.
Yeah, I don't love doing karaoke. I don't love karaoke. I like to watch it. I like people, watching.
Yeah,
we still have a great time.
Yeah.
Is there a reboot that you liked better than the original?
Is this television?
Anything?
Either.
Yeah,
okay.
Movie. Anything.
It would be for me, Mission Impossible.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've just binge watched them all recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, start to finish. They are and my son and I did. I just think he's incredible, and yeah.
Oh, I just started watching. My husband and I just watched Reacher. We just started Reacher, or we just watched the first season of Reacher. I can't imagine the Tom Cruise movie version because Reacher's like the Hulk. I mean, he's huge in the TV show.
He's huge. He's
a monster. He's got a square head and a big neck and like bulging and he's towering over everybody. But then
the movies are good. The movie's good. It's two movies. Right?
I can't imagine Tom Cruise playing that. Like, because I can see this guy kicking everyone's ass, but like Tom, I don't know. I got to watch it because I'm so confused on how Tom Cruise can play that role.
If Tom comes on your show, don't say that though. Because
I wouldn't. No, I know because I think we're about the same height.
Tom, I have a question.
Tom,
don't say that either.
Come up to my armpit.
This is why actors like male actors like me as their like love interest or whatever because I'm little, so I make them feel big.
Sean Astin, I remember. Didn't you work with Sean Astin? Who's
Sean
guy?
Lauren, like everyone that's sort of like a little bit. I mean, Barry Watson's like 6 foot something. Like he's one of the tall ones, but I feel like I always make guys feel they're always like, oh, good, someone's smaller than me. All right, what was your first concert?
My first concert was Kenny Rogers at the. Kenny Rogers at the Boston Garden. Yep, at the Boston Garden. And the reason of course, you remember your first concert. He did this kind of gimmick at the end of his concerts where he'd sign Frisbees and throw them.
Did you get one?
My sister caught one. The second she caught it, now remember, I'm 7. She's 8 maybe. And the second she caught it, the crowd this is an 8-year-old girl holding this Frisbee. They're going after it. They're trying to steal it from her. So she took the Frisbee and put it under her shirt so that nobody could get it. And we got back to the car and the autograph had smudged off.
Oh, no.
So now we just have a Frisbee.
Oh, man.
Frisbee. Yeah. But my concert was
you know in your heart that was signed once.
Yep.
Now I feel like you need to do that for the band from TV. You need to throw out Frisbees.
Right, Frisbees. It's a smaller crowd, so I might hit them in the face. They're going to be right there.
Hey, I was at a Monster Jam.
Little mini ones. You know, the little.
Yeah, you're right.
One of those Monster Jams, and they throw out those like Frisbee drone things or whatever. And I turned to my son's like, I want one. And I went, no, you've got enough. And as I turned back, it smacked me in the face.
Oh, no, you deserved it. I'm kidding.
Then they were like, here,
sorry.
you can have it. I'm like, fine, here. After I just was making a point of like, you will not have one. You cannot have everything. Other people get things too. And then I get smacked in the face.
Karma. There you go. Yeah.
What would you like your epitaph to say?
Epitaph. That's like what's on the gravestone?
On your tomb, yeah.
Right. You know, it's so funny. I wrote that everything doesn't have to be a giant story. I would like it to be something like gibberish, but thoughtful enough where people stand there going like make something up that makes no sense. Like here he lies, those who can't will not, and to be that is the only task we know. Right. So something that
Get Seth to write it.
Yeah. But something that's so gibberish that people go, oh, I see what he's saying there. But he didn't say anything. I used to do that. I'd write letters to people. My sister stayed at my house for a couple of weeks while she was getting her construction on her house. And I wrote this letter and then I filmed her reading it on the stairs because it was like, Heather, I wanted you to know. And that's the only thing I'm going to say because now is it. So like there's no noun. And she's just like, am I missing something? Is my brain? So I've always had this kind of joke thing, and I would want to put that on my.
That's a good one.
Headstone. Yeah, like yeah, just something gibberishy. Yeah.
All right, we got some this or that Amanda's going to do.
What is that?
All right.
Just okay. Do you want this one or that? Just
okay. Got it. Yep. I won't tell
right.
any stories. I won't tell.
And I preface with this: I did not make these up.
Okay.
I did.
Rose or froze?
Rose or froze? Froze.
Read a book or watch the movie?
Watch the movie. I hate that answer, Bo. I shouldn't say that, but it's I can't lie to you. I can't lie to you guys.
Drive or be driven?
Drive.
Brunch or happy hour?
Happy hour.
Theme.
Spotify or Apple Music?
Apple Music. I don't know how to use Spotify. Yeah.
You don't know how to use see, I don't know how to use Apple Music.
Well, I don't know how to do Spotify.
Pandora, Spotify, I have no idea any of those things. It's probably pretty easy if I tried to learn, but
I feel like I can't ever change the song when I want it.
On Spotify?
Yeah. Like I want
to pay more for all that.
You have to build your own. I find I have to build a playlist because I don't really know how to use it other than because I don't listen to music that much. So I just put in one. Like this morning, I was like, I really want to hear that song "This Is America" by Childish Gambino. So I put that in, listened to that, and then I turned it off. I was like, okay, done. I heard my one song.
I love one album on Apple Music. I'll find one I like, and I will just keep listening to that one over and over again until my kids basically force me to change it. Every time they get to the car, they're like, I'm
a creature of habit like that too. I just listen to classical or spa. I listen to a lot of spa music, which I shouldn't admit to, but
spa.
I just listen to spa music.
Like waterfalls.
Well, yeah, but there's music behind it too.
Piano?
Yeah.
Anything like massage music. Like if you're getting a massage, that's the kind of music I like to listen to.
Like a lute. Like a lute with a harp, or
like a lute.
Yeah, and the tones, it's like.
I want to play the lute next time you guys do your show.
We did. Do you know?
No, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
Oh, we did a movie called Robin Hood with Russell Crowe, and
yes,
we had to learn to play the lute.
Oh my gosh, do you have one?
I don't.
Damn.
I don't. I didn't like to play it. I wasn't very good.
I didn't like to play it.
The other guy was really.
That should be on your epitaph. Just
right.
He liked to play it.
He sucked at the lute. You're like, they're gonna be like, what the hell does that mean?
I like it. Well, thank you so much,
guys.
For being here.
Thank you, guys. You guys are a bright, shining stars, and I really enjoyed you. I enjoy your show, and I'm so happy. This is your 10th season.
Yeah.
Freaking hey, guys. Yeah. Beautiful. Well, I can't wait to continue to watch.
Thank you for doing this.
Love
Thanks
you.
For being here, sharing all your wonderful stories.
Thanks for asking. And SantaCon 2. Let's do it.
SantaCon 2 coming out.
Back on the wagon. Off the wagon.
Way off the wagon.
Way off. I love it. Thank you guys so much.
Women at what? Woman at binge.